Moving forward, Mr. Ignatieff must also assess how well prepared the Liberal Party is to fight in another election on the organizational front. The party certainly faces fundraising challenges, and many Liberal ridings are now dormant, without a candidate for the next election. While Mr. Ignatieff will not be the cure-all for all these problems, he will no doubt help. There is no doubt that in any Canadian political party, it starts from the top. Canadians were hardly willing to donate and mobilize behind Mr. Dion, a leader who could not inspire and did not come across with an effective message for what he stands for. Mr. Ignatieff already seems to be well ahead of where Mr. Dion was in this regard, trying to put forward a clear vision contrasted against Mr. Harper. This does not mean that magically the party will become resurrected, but as Mr. Ignatieff surrounds himself with qualified and competent advisors, he can begin to tweak the organizational structure of the party and give it life again. The key will be what I have talked about throughout the entire video: messaging, demonstrating to Canadians that what Mr. Ignatieff and the Liberal Party stand for. Almost then, if you build it, they will come approach. Give people a reason to be inspired and believe in you, and they will commit to your cause. When considering who will win the next election, one must also consider when the next election will be and how it will come about. It seems apparent that the longer Mr. Ignatieff has to reorganize the Liberal Party, the stronger it will be. Though the party is no doubt wanting to get back to power as soon as possible, most members and MPs realize that the amount of work they have to do is very great. Additionally, the Conservatives and the Liberals seem to be working together on producing a budget that is amenable to both sides, as indicated by recent meetings with John McCallum, Scott Bryson, and Jim Flaherty, a meeting between Mr. Harper and Mr. Ignatieff, as well as the language used publicly by both sides. So it appears the government will at least survive the budget vote this January. When you couple these factors with the electoral fatigue of the Canadian citizenry, it appears the Liberals are not in a hurry to force an election. However, Mr. Harper may move to take this decision out of their hands. If polling starts to show a rise in Liberal support and momentum on their side, Mr. Harper may introduce a confidence matter he knows the Liberals will defeat him on. In essence, he will try to frame the next election around the opposition's lust for power. The Liberals would of course much rather enter into an election on their terms, but Mr. Harper could force their hand with a bill that so offends their senses they would have no choice but to defeat the government. The challenge then for Mr. Harper on the election front would be introducing a bill that offends the senses of the opposition but not the senses of Canadians. So to the answer to the question, will Mr. Ignatieff return the Liberals to power? Well, the prospects do look positive for the Liberals. I have outlined the challenges Mr. Ignatieff faces and some ways in which he can go about meeting them. It will no doubt be a difficult task, but for the first time in a while, the Liberal Party appears to be headed in the right direction. I'm curious to see how it will unfold in the coming months. Thank you.